Hello there everyone, it's Jedimanda here, and we're talking about Ahsoka Tano! She's finally here. I've told you all about this in my other videos and pretty much all of my social media if you follow me, that we will be doing what I call Ahsoka Miss. It is basically I will be vlogging and recording my entire Ahsoka Tano build from the Mandalorian, and it's going to be weekly, but this is the first video in this series where we are going to break down her costume, her whole look here, so we all can start making Ahsoka together. We can collaborate on fabrics and colors and opinions about her Leiku, because I know you all have strong opinions about it just as much as I do. If you are new here, hello, my name is Jedimanda. Hi! I cosplay Ahsoka Tano. I have made two outfits of hers. I've made her book cover outfit, yeah, and her Rebels outfit, yeah. And I've been very, very, very looking forward to what she is going to be wearing in The Mandalorian when I heard that she was cast and going to make an appearance as a live action, finally, in The Mandalorian. Now, people are probably asking, well, why didn't you do her Snips look or the ones from the Clone Wars? And I will say extremely honestly, I am a 32-year-old woman. I don't look like a 13-year-old person anymore. So I really, really enjoy cosplaying people with my body shape and my age range, I guess you could say. I'm not saying that everybody has to cosplay their body shape, but I don't really look like Snips. However, her Siege of Mandalore look is officially on my to-do now, because I just love the look of it so much. But we are here talking about the Mandalorian outfit that she is wearing, as she is being played by Rosario Dawson, whom I think did a great job, and I really liked her as Ahsoka. People have other opinions of that. That's your opinion, but hey, I think she worked out. But we're here to talk about her outfit. So I just want to point out that I really appreciate that she's aged. I know that sounds really strange, but we're so used to seeing Ahsoka as an animated character and as a certain look and way in the show versus in live action. In the show, she has gigantic eyes and features, and she's the size of my pinky. And so I really appreciate that even though Rosario Dawson is ripped and she looks amazing as Ahsoka, she's aged, you know? I feel like you can tell it here, you can tell that she's been through some shit. And I just very happy that the production crew decided to do that with her look in The Mandalorian. So just had to get that out of the way, because I really liked that, and I'm very happy to be playing an older Ahsoka. So I have my notes here. We're gonna talk about the loves and hates first of this outfit. So spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen The Mandalorian Chapter 13, we're going to be talking about Ahsoka, whose outfit is in that. So there's not many spoilers of the actual show in here. We're just going to be talking about the costume. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I loved about it, and that is definitely the color tones. I love that they went with a charcoal gray scheme. It plays very well against her orange skin and her blue and white Leiku. I really loved the shape of the outfit. I think it fits a character who's older. The pants, which, oh my lord, the pants! So excited about the pants. Thick thighs rejoice. She looks old, but in a good way. You know, she looks like she can still take down everybody, but her cloak and the way she moves and just the way she talks and presents herself, she's wiser. But I loved the tone and the color of her color palette that she's wearing. I think it's beautiful. It's going to drive me crazy to find fabric choices like this, because finding specific colors in the Star Wars universe is a bit of a headache. One thing I did not like about it, my biggest quarrel with the whole outfit, is the Leiku. It's not the way it's made. I think it's fine. I think it's foam latex. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks very similar to the Disney Parks one that they have, and I thought it was fine. I actually kind of liked the little creases, because it showed that, well, at first My boyfriend said that it showed her age, and like that was her like wrinkles in her face were like the wrinkles in her leiku, and I was like, I kind of like that. I like that idea, but in reality, I don't think that's what it was. I think it's because she has such action and movement she has to do for the show that there's just wrinkles in her leiku. That's how we are. But I thought they were fine. I did not care for how short these were, and I think it's because her Rebels leiku, the one behind me, is very tall and very long. And I think it works. Now we're going to push in myself to my costume designer self. I think this is the only way we could have had this in live action because of the pulling of the cloak on and off and the movement that she has to have. These things have to be shorter, and this has to be shorter for it to be real. And I've gotten over that. I think this tiny little the peaks are, it's fine. It's a different shape. Get to make a new one of these, so we'll talk about that later. So that was my only qualm with it, I guess. A lot of people have strong feelings about that leiku. Let me know your feelings below. I'd like to hear your opinion on them, because some people are like, yeah, it's great. Some are like, it's terrible. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But that was my biggest problem with it, which is barely anything, because I love this outfit, guys. It's so great. So let's break the outfit down into the pieces that she has. Now, we see her with a cloak, looking so cool, and of course her sabers. But under the cloak, she has a tunic, tabards, an obi, leather belt, of course her sabers, and her pants. She has boots with Greaves armor, and her armbands, gloves, and armor on her armbands. Oh, and her headband on her leiku. So those are the pieces that she has. Now, I'm sure if you guys have noticed, but I definitely noticed how this is very, very Jedi look versus like her Siege of Mandalore look. I mean, she's wearing an Ahsoka version of a Jedi Knight outfit, and I dig it. And an Ahsoka version of it is just sans sleeves, which, man, I wish she had some sleeves. But oh well. My shoulders will be bare and it's fine. But let's break them down a little bit more. Now, I want to talk about the cloak, and the cloak, the cloak is very worn out. It's even went through some fire in the episode when Din kind of lights it on fire and she does that beautiful aerial to hop out of the fire. But it's very worn, and for some reason it just bugs me as a costumer, this big giant placket in the middle. I know it's there because it needs to be quick on and quick off, and those are probably magnets holding it together because she needs to remove it, obviously for quick reasons. But it's so evident, it's so pronounced. That's okay. The cloak hangs off her shoulders. It's got various hem length, and has a very, very giant hood. Now, as we break down these outfits, I'm going to talk about what fabric I think it is. Personally, I think this fabric is a basket weave tweed, or a fabric that could be a version of raw silk, like a really, really knobby raw silk, or matka. It's a matka. It's a fabric that has a very knobby basket weave texture that could have been used for this. My fabric choices are 100% not coming from the production. I don't have anybody that I know. However, if you did work on the production, talk to me. I'd love to talk about some things. But these are just my choices and what I'm going to be going with fabric. So it looks like a really comfy blanket that she's wearing, to sum it up. But I definitely am going to go with a basket weave tweed and just soften it up a whole lot. Now, her tunic, tabards, obi, just had to pull up a picture. Her tunic, tabards, obi, and belts and things like that are all a version of charcoal color. They're dark and lighter mid-tone charcoals, I think. They do kind of tend to be on the navy side, especially when she turns around and she shows that T-back sports bra look, which I'm like, yeah, I remember that sports bra look I had in the early 2000s. But I personally think it's all charcoal and tones of charcoal color and maybe a touch of navy blue. Not too sure. I love the look of them. Oh, they're so good. The tailoring and the seam work on these outfits, it's going to be so much fun to recreate. I'm so excited. But I think they're linen, versions of linen, different weights, different tones of charcoals and linen. And so that's what I'm going to go with is different linens for those. And I think I've broken it down for her bodice top area is only 2 different types of fabrics. I think the tunic is a lighter, more gray charcoal, and then the obies on the outside, and then her, I'm sorry, not the obi, tabards on the outside and the obi are a more blue, charcoal, gray color, both linen in my opinion. Her belt is brown leather with some, I think is the same fabric as the tabards on the outside, just woven weirdly with some styling, and then some top stitching. It looks like some cream top stitching around the outer edge of the leather belt with a circle thing in the middle that I plan to 3D print, as well as the saber holders that I plan to 3D print. Those look metal, I think. If you're into cosplay, I think they will be, you could use all kinds of different materials for that. Possibly Warbler would be a really good one. And then she has, now I want your all's opinion on this. Do you think her beads hanging off of her right hip are her Padawan beads? I don't think so, because they were taken away at when she was, when she left the Jedi, or when she was expelled from the Jedi Order, and she didn't want them back. So I think they're not. However, some people that I watched the episode with thought that they were. So let me know what you think. Just different colors of beads. I think they're blacks, browns, coppers, silvers. I don't really have a lot of really good pictures of those, but definitely that's what's hanging off her right hip. And the leather belt is over the obi. And the obi is, I think it's different. It's the same fabric, well, at least I'm going to make it the same fabric because this is going to be an expensive build, as the tabards, but they are very reminiscent of her Rebels look, which I noticed this as I was looking into the details and the seam work of this, is that the pieces on her hips, all of the detailing that's done, I think with thread or paint, I'm not too sure, but that looks like the detailing that's on her side armor pieces of her Rebels look. And so there's a lot in this outfit that is very reminiscent of her Rebels outfit, and I love it so much. It's so cool. So moving on after her belt, and I do believe it laces up in the back. I saw some, let me look at my back pictures here. Turn around. Yes, it laces up in the back with long pieces of what I'm going to use is linen trim, basically, and it also has different shapes. On the obi is just different shapes. There's like one big shape. This is terrible. I'm sorry I'm having such a hard time describing this, but it's literally fabric that's like triangles on her hips and then just the obi around her back. I think it's also shaped differently on the back. It's more of an oval. But yeah, there's that, along with her beads, and then her saber hooks, of course. Now, before we get to the pants, let's talk about her armbands. Now, her armbands, I think, are also the same fabric as her tabards, which I'm going to use as the same fabric as her tabards. Very reminiscent of her snips look with the cut out little diamonds here, but instead of them being cut out, it's twisted fabric. So this whole outfit, there's a lot of fabric manipulation going on. If you're not confident in playing with a lot of fabric and manipulating it by turning and twisting and heating up and folding and pleating, I would suggest the Art of Fabric Manipulation book here. I have it. It's one of my favorite books to just kind of figure out different ways to play with fabric by just bending it, molding it, folding it, and pleating it. I should copyright that. Anyways, yes, her armbands, arm sleeves, or whatever you want to call them, have the little diamond cutouts, but they're made by twisting the fabric around. So I'm going to be doing twisting, and then like I did my Doctor Strange armbands, I'm probably going to have, which is not screen accurate, so a zipper down it somehow, and then also maybe some elastic to keep it up, or I might even hand tack it to the arm sleeve body socks that I'll be using to help keep them up, because for some reason armbands don't like to stay up on me, and I hate having to pull them up constantly, especially with body paint. if you're going to be doing that. So my suggestion is body socks and then tacking them to your body sock. And if you're not familiar with body socks, when I talk about that, they are tights that basically you put on your arms to not have to body paint. And it is a lifesaver at conventions for anybody who is a character that is not your normal skin color, like Ahsoka here. I'm not orange. Moving down from the top parts of the armbands, I want to talk about her armor. Her forearm armor is pretty much her Rebels armor, almost exactly. Now, I'm going to be making new armor because my ones that I made for my Rebels outfit are old and I need to make new armor. Probably going to be making it out of foam and warbler. I'm going to be doing some 3D printing along with this build. Not sure on that yet. I'll talk about that later in videos. But yeah, I mean, it's really similar to her Rebels armor, almost identical. And then, of course, it's got some light up bits in an area as well. She has, I think those are dark brown gloves, very similar to the color of her belt. Fingerless gloves, and then armor that's on the palms. So now let's talk about my favorite part of this whole outfit, and that is her pants. Her freaking harem pants, guys. She looks so cool. I love these because I have thighs and a butt, and sometimes super suits and things that are really close, really tight, just it stinks sometimes. So to be able to have these pants that I'm going to be able to move in and do all kinds of cool poses and stuff, oh, that's so freaking cool. And it is very samurai ninja inspired. If you guys noticed the concept art at the end of the episode where she looked like she's battling the magistrate, I loved that shot. I need that framed on my wall. But the pants are awesome except for one thing: they're patterned. And of course, trying to find this exact type of fabric is really difficult. So I'm going to tell you all that it's going to be a problem. You're probably going to have to dye some stuff, and it'll be okay. I actually found a gray knit with a similar lattice pattern at Joann's. Now it's light gray, it's kind of like a heather gray. I'm gonna have to dye the hell out of it, and I hope it takes. But as far as her pants goes, I recommend linen if you can find them, but honestly, if you really want to be screen accurate, finding that exact fabric is going to be tough. And if you do, good on you, awesome. But if you don't, using the same type of fabric that you used for her tunic or tabards is probably going to be totally fine. The tones are just, charcoal gray. So having that to be a pattern is just a thorn in my side. However, it looks really cool. So I'm going to try my hardest with the knit that I found, and hopefully it'll dye well and I'll be able to make the pants. Now the pants, I said before, they're harem pants. And if you guys are not familiar with harem pants, here's harem pants. Basically, they're just extremely baggy pants with a very, very, very low inseam, or very short inseam. When you're standing up, it kind of looks like a skirt, but when you're moving, they're pants. So they're extremely comfortable. I'm very excited to make these. Now, I did find 2 store-bought patterns here. One is a Berta, one is a quick sew. I ended up buying the Berta pattern. I'm going to probably adding more fabric into the pants to get it to be a little more billowy, but patterning harem pants sometimes are not fun, so I suggest getting a pattern. Patterning everything else, I'm going to be draping and patterning them myself. There's several Jedi type patterns out there from Simplicity and McCall's. If you just do not want to do any draping or patterning yourself, highly recommend grabbing those. There's going to be a lot of altering because she's got that T-back, she's sleeveless, got all kinds of different things. So patterning is going to be kind of iffy with this one, but best of luck to you if you try. I will be posting all of the stuff that I will be using, how I'm going to make this, over on my Instagram in a highlight. So if you have questions about it, you can follow along on my build. The first things I will be doing is making the outfit, then the cloak, then the Leiku. So that's my order I'm going in. However, her pants are harem pants. They're printed on linen, I think, or some sort of maybe a raw silk. but they look really cool and they drape really well. Love those pants. Oh, I can't wait to get my thighs in those. Okay, so the last thing we have to cover, well, kind of the last thing we have to cover, are her boots and greaves. The black boots, but they have a split toe. If you are very screen accurate, personally, I do not want that, so I am not going to do that. I purchased a pair of boots off of ThreadUp, which is my secret weapon when it comes to cosplay, because it's recycled clothing, secondhand clothing that you can get and use and weather and alter for a cheaper price, and you are saving the environment when you're doing it. So I just purchased a basic pair of flat black boots that I will be putting my greaves on. They're probably going to be made out of foam, maybe Warbler, most likely probably foam, to make them lighter, and it will go over the foot, the top part of the foot as well. I don't have a lot of really good images of the greaves yet. Probably they'll come out later. Also, they just look really similar to her Rebels look. The lines and the shapes of them are very similar. It's just different colors. So those are her boots and greaves. But if you're looking for screen accuracy, it is a split toe boot. So you go find those. Okay, so let's talk about her sabers. Nothing much here except they're white, and they're the exact sabers that she used in the Clone Wars Rebels. So if you plan on making yours, I actually have images over in my Facebook, I think, my Facebook album for my Ahsoka Rebels build. I made mine out of foam and Warbler. Super simple, but they didn't have the blades on them. Now, if you want the blades, I don't know how to make those, so I bought mine. Link below. I'll go ahead and tell you guys from Geeky Artifacts. It's a person out of Australia. I got a really good price on them. Both her dual sabers from Rebels with the white blade, and I haven't gotten them here yet, so I can't really talk about them, but that's where I got them. The link below is if you are curious. I know there are several saber companies out there that will probably be offering these very soon, so just stay tight. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is her Leku. So Leku Montrals, I think, was the comment thread that we had going on the other day. Yeah, if you're not familiar with my Ahsoka build, I have a whole tutorial on how to make this in my channel. It's one of my most viewed videos. A lot of people have used it to make their own Leku. It is a very cheaper way to make it besides buying it or casting and sculpting and molding and casting your own. If you would like to do that, it's a very user-friendly. I use all materials from a local craft store, Joann's. It just takes time and hand sewing skills. So here in the cards is that exact video, and I'll have it below in the description if you'd like to make your own. It just requires a lot of patience and trial. I also have a companion video with it going about a little more inside look depth of what this is, so you can kind of look at it. However, I will be making a new video of a different way I think I'm going to approach this, so I'll have two Ahsoka Leku videos for you to dive into. This one I'm going to be doing more of a sculpt, add-on stuff, hopefully be able to remove it and then stuff it, because I want a more movable, lifelike Leku similar to the show than this one. I love this one, but it's very stiff when you use upholstery foam that I have on the inside. So when I turn my head, I can't really turn my head. Actually, I have to move one of the montrals over my shoulder and then look this way. It's basically like wearing a giant pillow on your head, but it does look really good, and I was able to put it together in maybe a week, so it worked out. But I have to do more experiments about how I'm going to be doing this new one, so I don't want to talk about it too much yet in case it's a failure. But I will be making a new one. Now, her headband, I think, is made of leather? I'm not sure. People will probably be 3D printing it. I know it looks like it could be made out of foam, it could be made out of Warbler, it could be made out of a lot of things, to be honest. And then just those little three detailed jeweled pieces on the top. Nothing too bad. I will tell you though, I love that it exists because A, it covers her ear, Rosario Dawson's ear, because I don't think Ahsoka has ears. And then the seam, it covers the seam from the face to the Leku. So if you guys have never worn one of these before, if you're new to cosplaying Ahsoka, you have this very large separation between your head and the Leiku. That's very jarring. So to have something right there to cover it up is wonderful. So I was glad to see that, and I knew they would, because once again my costumer design self is coming in, and I know functionality that has to be there for the actress and the whole team to be able to get that look to be looking good without too much post work. So yeah. Anything else I want to touch on? Her makeup. I have a whole video about how I do my Ahsoka makeup if you're very interested in looking at. Card here, link below. I use water-based paint. It's really easy, really simple. There's not much different to talk about here. I might try a different method for this one. I might go with an airbrush method. Not sure yet. We will get to that when we get to it. So I honestly think that's it with her costume analysis and breakdown. I really hope this video is gonna help you and gives you a little more insight, maybe on fabric choices or seam work or how to even start this thing. And if you'd like to build it, it's an intense build, guys. This is gonna be a lot, but it's gonna be fun. And I'm excited to be able to show this to you guys in a vlog style, weekly style format coming up, and that I'm titling Ahsoka-mas. Because it'll lead me into Christmas whether I like it or not. So that is Ahsoka from The Mandalorian, her costume analysis and breakdown. If you have any questions or you want to chat about how you think you're going to do this, or if you're like, Amanda, why are you using linen? Why don't you use 100% cotton twill? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions and your thoughts on how you think you're going to make this outfit, or just Ahsoka in general. We have her now live action, guys. Let's take it and run with it. So the next video in this series is probably going to be me showing you guys the fabric that I've bought, because I have purchased some things already. I just didn't want to share them here because maybe they'll work, maybe they're not. I didn't want to throw them out there and you guys be like, Amanda, these suck. So we'll go over the fabric choices that I have and the things that I've bought, patterns, and then I'm probably going to start on her pants first. So that's where we are, and I'm so excited to get this build. It's got me energized again to make something from scratch completely. Oh, I'm so excited, and it's Star Wars, which is the best. So if you're interested in following me along on this build, I would really appreciate a subscribe, a like, and a comment, maybe a share. Maybe a share. And definitely turn on those bell notifications, because sometimes my videos get lost, which stinks. That is the end of this video. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.